is that you take this, right? Welcome to your gentle flow and your stretch class. We'll move through the whole body, kind of from the head to the toes. Take your time moving in and out of stuff. Nothing should hurt. And if I offer something that doesn't resonate with you, you can always just skip it, right? This is a great class to have a couple of blocks if you end up wanting to use them. Maybe even a bolster or a big pillow. And we're starting off here in a supported hero's pose. So either you have your feet separated and a block or a book in between your heels, and you're sitting your bottom back and down on that support. Or you have your heels together and you sit back onto your heels. And if neither of those feel good, just sit on your bottom and cross your legs. Roll your shoulders back and down. If it feels comfortable to you to close down your eyes, feel free to do that. And if it doesn't, then just gaze softly kind of towards the tip of your nose or towards something just out in front of you. Now take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Shoulders back and down. Take a deep inhale. Allow for your breath to travel up. You might feel your belly press into your bottom hand, and then as your breath rises all the way up, you might feel your heart space lift up and press into your top hand. And then exhale, let it go. Empty back out. Inhale. And exhale. Let's take maybe 3 more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Last 2. Inhale. And exhale. Take your last one, deep breath in, let it go all the way up. And breath out. Let it empty all the way to the bottom. Now flicker open your eyes. With your inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the ground so that you can come onto your hands and your knees for a moment. And then roll out your ankles. Just since you've been sitting on your feet for a little bit, roll out the ankles, get into that space. And then drop your feet back down to the ground, but tuck your toes underneath you. And then sit your hips back towards your heels. Feel the stretch between your toe petals and the ball mounds of your feet. You might reach back and kind of move your pinky toe out from underneath your 4th toe. And then bring your shoulders up over your hips when you're ready. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you're just going to go right back to your supported hero's pose with the tops of your feet down and your bottom down on your block. You might even have 2 blocks underneath you, so find something that works, it's fine. And then from there, inhale, reach your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers. And then as you exhale, reach your palms, flip your palms, the webbing towards the ceiling. Now inhale, arch your upper back, let your belly kind of drape forward. It's almost like a supported seated cow pose. And then exhale, dome out your upper back, navel to your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest. And take your webbing forward. So palms now flip towards the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your chest, arch your low back, lift your gaze. And then exhale, tuck it in, round for your upper back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Now Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Come up onto your knees, untuck your toes. And then exhale, open arm twist to the right. Take your left fingertips forward, your right fingertips back. Breathe here. And then inhale, rotate back front and center. Reach both arms high. And exhale, open arm twist to the left. Right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Breathe. And then inhale, rotate back front and center. On the exhale, bring your hands down to the ground and shift your hips back towards your heels and take a quick child's pose. Let your rib cage rest on the tops of your thighs. You can close down your eyes if you'd like. Breathing there. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. And as you breathe in, you know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know you're breathing out. So we're going to take that a couple more times. If you need to place something underneath your knees, do so. On the inhale, bring your hands, slide them back, lift your shoulders up over your hips up over your knees, and swim your arms out and up. And then exhale, open arm twist to the right. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Inhale, arms reach back front and center. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Inhale, right back front and center. Arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Shift your hips back and find your child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands back. Roll your chest up, lift your hips over your knees. Arms out and up. And exhale, open arm twist to the right. Inhale, both arms swim back forward. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Inhale, right back front and center. Exhale, hands down, hips back, drape your chest towards the ground. Do one more round. Inhale, slide your hands back, lift your hips over your knees, swim your arms out and up. And then exhale, open arm twist to the right. Inhale, right arm comes down, then lifts, you reach forward and up. Exhale, open arm twist to the left, right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Let your left hand soften back down, reach forward, reach up. And then exhale, hands down, hips back, chest to the thighs, close your eyes and breathe. Maybe you roll your forehead from side to side. And then inhale. Slide your hands back, lift your hips up over your knees, and then exhale, stack your joints, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. And then inhale, let a soft belly drop down, lift your chin, lift your tail. And then exhale, reverse the movement, dome out the upper back, drop the crown of your head down, tuck your navel in and up. And then inhale. Soft belly down. There's a sway to your low back and let your heart press forward. And exhale to reverse it. Separate your shoulder blades, drop your head down. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come back into your neutral spine. Curl up your toes. And then exhale, pull the pit of your belly in and up and lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So your feet are about hip width distance apart. Your hands maybe shoulder width distance or anything kind of in between. Feel it out for yourself. And then I'm stretching my calves here a little bit because they feel tight. So if that feels good to you, maybe you inhale, roll to the ball mounds of your feet. And then exhale, let your right heel soften down, bend your left knee. And then inhale, roll to the balls of your feet. And exhale, let your left heel soften down, bend your right knee. You just go side to side for a moment. We'll get off of our wrists soon enough. And then inhale, bend your knees to look forward. On the exhale, as many steps as you need to walk your feet towards the top of your mat, moving towards your hands. Once you get there, inhale, slide your fingertips up your shins, tabletop your back, crown of your head forward, tailbone back. Your belly pulls in and up. And then exhale, soft bend to your knees, drop the crown of your head down, and grab opposite elbows. You can kind of move side to side here. But if you don't want the movement and you just want to be still, then just be still, it's fine. It feels good this early in practice to reach your hands towards the small of your back and interlace your fingers, make a fist. You can work it up and off of the low back, but if it feels better to just kind of take your hands and hold them at your sacrum or to grab opposite elbows, whatever you need. And then on your next exhale, drop your hands all the way down. Now your feet could be all the way together or they can stay about hip width distance apart. The choice is yours. But on the inhale, halfway lift. Crown of your head towards the front of the room. Your tailbone draws back, your belly in and up. And then exhale, fold yourself down. On the inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Lift your chest so that your thumbs find your sternum. Inhale, circle your arms out and up. Look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So moving through half sun salutations. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, press down through your feet. Reach your arms out and up. It's our last one. Exhale, bring your hands to heart and lift your chest. Inhale, arms circle out and up, look up. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. So crown forward, tail back, belly in and up. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Step your feet back. You're in a high plank for just a moment. Soften your knees down to the ground. And then inhale, shift yourself forward. And exhale, melt all the way down to your belly. Let your toenails and your pubic bone come down. And then zip the pit of your belly in. Your hands are just underneath your shoulders, outside of your chest. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale, melt it back down. Now try to keep all 10 toenails down. So you've got an internal rotation of your thigh bones. And then inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, pull your belly in and up. Your elbows are back. And exhale, melt it back down. One more inhale. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then this time, press all the way back. Exhale, child's pose, balasana. Hips to your heels, your forehead comes down. Breathing here for 3. Relax your brows, your jaw for 2. Take your last round of breath here before we move along. Exhale completely. And then inhale, press up into your box pose, all fours. And then exhale, use the pit of your belly to draw you up and back to downward facing dog, hips high. Once you're in an inverted letter V shape with your body, you can bend your knees a lot, right? So it's really up to you where you want to go with this. But you could take your knees, bend them a lot, lift your heels, and then truly lift the arrow that's on your tailbone up towards the sky. So you feel the hinge at your hips. And then drop your heels over to the right for a moment. Feel the twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, drop your heels to the left. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, let your heels feel heavy. Inhale to float your right leg up to the sky. Take your time, use your whole breath. And then exhale, step your right foot all the way through and soften your left knee down to the ground. So you're going to take your time. Your right knee stays bent, it's tracking the heel or the ankle. And then your right toes are at 12 o'clock. Inhale. Let your chest rise, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Now your left toes can be tucked under or the top of your foot can be down. It's kind of your choice. I'm going to go tuck toes today. Draw the pit of your belly back so that you're nice and supported in your low back. Good, y'all. Now with the arms reaching up, inhale, float your fingertips a little bit higher. And then exhale, open arm twist to the right. So we've been here before, but both knees were down on the ground. Reach your left fingertips forward, your right fingertips back. But ideally, your chest, your hips, and your shoulders stay in a straight line, right? So you're not leaning back, you're not coming forward. Breathe. Now your right hand finds the small of your back for a little bit of support. Reach your left arm up and back. Zip the pit of your belly in so you're supporting your lumbar spine. And then you might gently press your hips forward as you lift your chest, coming up and out of your hips, and then rounding your upper and middle thoracic spine over an imaginary beach ball, right? And it might be imperceptible, the rounding. Take one more inhale. Exhale, place your left hand down on the ground inside your right foot. If you have a block, this is a great place for you to place a block underneath your left hand. Inhale, float your right arm up to the sky, stack your right shoulder on top of the left, press down into the inner arch of your right foot, and then your gaze typically would go up towards your right thumb. So drishti towards your right fingers. And breathe. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, wrap your right forearm around the small of your back in a half bind. Fingertips are kind of looking for your left hip crease. And then roll your right clavicle so that it stacks on top of the left. And breathe. Your gaze can go high or just to the right side of the room. And then on your next inhale, reach your right fingertips back up. And then as you exhale, drop your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Now inhale to pull your heart forward. And then exhale, shift your hips back. You're probably going to feel it on the left hip on the front, right? But shift your hips back. Straighten your right leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Now I like to leave my hips over my left knee. If you like to bring your hips all the way towards your left heel, that's fine. Yeah? Do you? Let your navel slide towards your right thigh bone as you pull your heart forward and your toes flex back towards your shin. Relax your face. And then if you like it here, you can take your right toes forward. You can flex them back towards your shin. You can kind of move forward and backward in that space, see what your right foot needs. Or you can just hold with your toes flexed back or down. And then really take your heart towards your right ankle. If you need a baby bend in the right knee, take it. And when you're ready, inhale, lengthen your spine. On the exhale, spin your right pinky toe down towards the ground, so getting into your IT band. Let your toes continue to flex back towards your shin. Now you're more than welcome to stay right here. If you want, you can lift your left toes and spin them towards the left corner of your mat. So it's a swivel of your hips. Your right hip is going to pull back and your left hip forward. And then you might walk your hands over to the right. Another great spot to have blocks underneath your hands, especially if you're wishing that the ground was closer. It's all good, y'all. Just breathe wherever you get to. Completely exhale. And then inhale, spin yourself back forward. And walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. And then exhale, giant step forward. Your left foot finds the right foot at the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, melt yourself down. Let it go. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then this time, exhale, drop your left hand down and reach your right arm up and over. Breathe here. Press actively into both edges of your feet. So not just the inner, not just the outer. It's all of it. And then inhale, take both arms up to the sky. Reach like you mean it. Exhale, drop your right hand down and reach your left arm up and over. If you feel this in your low back, take the top of your pubic bone and draw it slightly upward. And then you inhale, take both arms back to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, your hands come down. Step your feet back. And you're right back into your high plank. Taking Ashtangasana this round. So inhale, bring your knees down to the ground. On the exhale, lift your hips. Drop your chest and your chin. It's like a little inchworm. Hold a bit of your belly in. Exhale completely. Inhale, slide through. Pubic bone and toenails down. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, take your hips back and find your child's pose. Hips to your heels. And then roll your forehead side to side. And then we inhale, press back up into your box pose, all fours. Exhale, curl up your toes, lift your hips up and back. And find your downward facing dog. Inhale, float your left leg up to the sky, nice and slow. And then exhale, as many steps or however you need to get it there. Left foot to your left thumb. Soften your right knee down to the ground. And then give yourself a moment, check it all out. Your left knee is tracking your heel or your ankle. Your toes are at 12 o'clock. Then when you feel stable, you can curl up your toes or leave them untucked. It's up to you. Inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Salamba Anjaneyasana, it's a supported crescent lunge. And then stay for your exhale. So this little space right here between your navel and your pubic bone, you want to draw that back to the best of your ability. It's almost like you're trying to create a wrinkle on the front of your pants, right? And when you do that, you create some stability and some, a little bit more balance, a foundation. And then you're also supporting yourself directly on the opposite side. So if you're feeling low back discomfort, not always, but it's typically the belly is coming forward when we're really needing to pull it back. Take one more inhale here so that you reach your fingertips up as much as you can. And then exhale, open arm twist to the left. Now your right fingertips go forward, your left fingertips go back. And you breathe. Shoulders back and down. Shoulders stay over your hips. And then maybe your left hand finds the small of your back. There's a gentle amount of pressure there so that you're supported. And then reach your right fingertips up. And softly press your hips forward. Breathe. You're still pulling the pit of your belly in. Squeeze at the base of your pubic bone, so Mula Bandha. Draw the root energy lock closed. Perfect. Whew. Take one more inhale here. And then on the exhale, drop your right hand down to the ground, but slow and controlled, right? And on your inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. Stack your left shoulder on top of the right. Wash your right elbow. Breathe here. Gaze traditionally would follow your left hand. One more inhale here. And then exhale, wrap your left forearm around the small of your back in a half bind. Let your fingertips search for your right hip crease. And then maybe kind of stack your left clavicle on top of the right as you continue to look up and you breathe. Your next inhale, float your left arm back up to the sky. And exhale, drop your left hand down to the outside of your left foot and shift your hips back. Straighten your left leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Let your tailbone flare towards the back of your mat a little bit so you lengthen unless you really need to be tucking it, right? You got to feel out what's happening in your hamstring. If you need a little bit more sensation, take a baby flare from your tail towards the back of your mat. You could have your left knee slightly bent a lot, or it might be straight. And once this part fits like a glove and you're like, okay, like I got this, then you can start to take the toes forward, bring them back, whatever it is that you need. And slide your navel towards your left thigh bone and really pull your chest forward and down. Aiming for a long, strong spine rather than rounding. And then if you want some IT band work, you can either just stay where you are or inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, roll your left pinky toe down towards the ground so your left foot is flexed towards the top of your mat. Keep breathing. And you could lift your right toes, spin them towards the right corner of your mat. Swivel your hips so that your left hip pulls back, right hip forward. And you can walk your right hand to the outside of your left foot. Keep breathing. You exhale completely. And then inhale, walk yourself back forward, or back to center, I guess. And then all the way towards the top of your mat. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. And then it's a giant step forward with your exhale. Right foot meets the left at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Pull your belly in and up. Crown forward, tail back. And then exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, hands come down to heart center. Interlace all but your index finger. And then inhale, reach your arms back up. And on the exhale, bump your hips to the right and draw your fingertips to the left. Inhale, draw back through center, get long. And then exhale, bump your hips to the left and drape your fingertips over to the right. Now inhale, reach your arms back to the sky. Release your bind, and then exhale, elbows back and down, and lift your chest. Inhale, interlace your fingers at the small of your back or grab onto opposite elbows, right? Lift your chest, roll the knots on the fronts of your shoulders back. And then exhale, soft bend in your knees, forward fold, chest to your thighs, drop your head down and move your fist up and away from the small of your back. Now there's an internal rotation of your humerus, your upper arm bone, and your shoulder socket. So you'll feel the shoulders actually move down and away from your neck rather than coming up towards your ears. And then notice if your hands are open, could you feel the heel of your palms? Even if it means you have to bend your elbows, right? Because it's going to get you a different kind of a stretch across the fronts of your shoulders and your chest. And it's okay if the answer is no, right? Just planting some seeds. One more inhale here. Slow and controlled exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, step your feet back. Find your high plank for just a moment, right? Then bring your knees down, Ashtangasana, one more time. So you're going to stick your bottom up. Bend your elbows. Drop your chest and your chin, gazes forward. And then as you're ready, you kind of slide your feet back, your heart through, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, bring your hips towards your heels. And breathe. Relax your shoulders from your ears. And then roll your forehead from side to side. All right. On your next inhale, press up into your box pose. I'm going to grab my towel and place it underneath my knees. So, keep your hips over your knees. And I'm actually going to slide back just a little bit. And your knees are about hip width distance apart. But walk your hands out. So, coming down to the forehead if that's available. If it's not, you could always have a block underneath your forehead or your pillow or your bolster, right? Otherwise, bring your forehead down. If you feel like you have the space in your neck, your throat, and your upper back today, maybe you take your chin to the ground and gaze forward. Just breathe wherever you are. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, just sink your hips back down towards your heels and let your forehead rest. On your next inhale, press back up into your box pose. And on the exhale, root down into your left hand. Inhale to float your right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle. Right arm underneath the left. Come down to your right shoulder, your right ear, your right temple. Now your left hand can either stay where it is, it can reach forward, or it can wrap around the small of your back in a half bind. You choose. Figure out what you need this morning or whatever it is, and work in that space. You've got about 3 to 5 more long, deep breaths here. slide your left hand back in front of your face. Inhale, float your right arm up to the sky. Now on the exhale, wrap your right forearm around the small of your back in a half bind. Inhale, rotate your right shoulder up, look up, and exhale, release your right hand back down to the ground. Now inhale, soft belly drapes down, find a cow pose, lift your chin, lift your chest. And exhale, reverse it. Dome out your upper back, tuck your chin, tuck your tail. And then inhale right back into a neutral spine. And exhale, root down into the right palm. Inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. And exhale, thread the needle, your left arm underneath the right. Come down to your shoulder, your ear, your temple. And then reach your right arm forward or wrap around the small of your back in a half bind. Find that space that feels appropriate to your body in this moment. So by twisting in this manner, countering out that puppy dog pose we did with our chest kind of reaching to the ground with our hips lifted, was similar to this, right? But we were opening up our chest towards the floor. So now we twist in that same area to kind of counter out all of that heart opening, back bending. Now slide your right hand back in front of your face. Press your palm down. Inhale, lift your left arm up to the sky. And with your exhale, take your left forearm, wrap around the small of your back in a half bind. Use the inhale to lift your left shoulder a little bit more. And then exhale, release. Let your left hand come back down to the ground. And then inhale, soft belly down, lift your chin, lift your tail. And exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine, drop your head down. And you know what, let's take some hip circles here because it feels good, so maybe a little to you too. Move your body in any kind of pattern or shape that feels right. Don't worry about how it looks. Move around and like see if you feel a certain space that you're like, oh, I need to stretch there, I need to move there, or whatever it is. Put it back together over here. And do that for a moment. And then when you're ready, come right back through center. And however you want to come down to seated, cross your feet at the ankles or swim your feet out to the side. And then bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. So, Baddha Konasana. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together and the heels in towards the sits bones. And then your knees splay, just kind of hang open, right? If you have any knee issues or if hip issues, your feet are going to go farther away from you and you're going to create more like a diamond shape, right? This also might release out of your low back a little bit more. If everything feels great, you're going to draw your feet together. And then maybe you even take the weight of your forearms and your elbows, and as you hinge through your hips, so you'll notice that my spine is still lengthened, you kind of press down with your arms, but not a lot, just enough to let your knees open out a little bit more while you press your heart forward. And breathe. Always breathing. your belly, and then slowly lift yourself back up. And then when you're ready, let your hands come back behind you and extend your legs out wide. Now, if you feel anything around your knees or something pulling, then you're going to go with a shorter distance between your feet. And you'll also bend your knees, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then once more, knees and toes point up. But as you exhale, hinge through your hips and start to walk yourself forward. Now, we haven't done a whole lot of inner thigh stuff today, so it might be humbling, and you might be really far away from the ground. Even if we have warmed up the inner thighs a lot, you might still be lifted, and that's fine. But maybe, even though it's uncomfortable, could you find that piece of comfort in that which is uncomfortable, right? Can you find ease in the discomfort? Maybe take a bend to the knees. But notice that perhaps, and it might not always be true, but with every exhale, maybe you feel, and it could be an incremental, imperceptible micro shift. But maybe as you exhale, you start to go down a little bit more. But there should be no pain around the knees, nothing going on around the gluteal fold. And then slowly walk your hands back so that your shoulders come up and over your hips. And then as you exhale, gently draw your legs back together. You might use your hands. It's all good. And then from there, if you have like a towel or a strap or something like that, I'm going to use my sweatshirt. But if you have or actually a towel too. If you have a towel or you have a strap or you have a piece of clothing by you, bring it with you as you come down. And let's go one vertebra at a time until you're flat on your back. So move nice and slow. And then once you're down, take an inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Extend your legs long. Roll out your wrists and your ankles. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest. And this is where you might use your towel or your strap or your clothing. Grab my towel here. That'll work. And loop it around the ball of your right foot. Now, some of you might just grab on with your peace fingers to your right big toe. But I want you to notice what happens with your right shoulder. And if it lifts off the ground, pull it back down. You might have a bend into your right knee, and that's totally fine. Feel your low back and both hips pressing down onto the mat. Your eyes can even be closed here. Your gaze is at your nose tip, just at the sky. And then gently begin to draw your right side closer in towards your rib cage. Now some of you might bend your elbow and bring your chest to your back. Relax your shoulder from your knee. And then take your left hand to your left thigh so it doesn't lift the hip off the ground. One more inhale. And then exhale, let your head and shoulders come down. And take your right leg out to the side body, out to the side of the room. And then turn your gaze to the left. If you have something looped around your right foot, you're going to just switch the straps or the ends into your left hand. If you are holding onto your foot with your hand, you're now going to take your left hand to the outer edge or to your big toe. And then exhale, drop your right leg over to the left. Reach your right arm out to the side. Ooh, I'm touching our painting. And get a supine twist here. On your next inhale, lift your right leg back up. And on the exhale, let your right leg come down to the ground. You might notice for a moment that your right leg feels longer than the left. All good. Now hug your left knee in towards your chest. Kind of feel everything out for a moment. You can interlace your fingers around your left shin. Draw your leg in. Feel the compression on your left hip. And then if you're going to use your strap or your shirt or whatever, loop it around the ball mounds of your left foot or peace fingers around your left big toe. Extend your left leg up into the sky. Now watch your left shoulder. If it's pulling up, draw it back down. You might have a bend in your left knee. It's all good. Just get comfortable here. Comfortable, right? And I know. But get acclimated to the best of your ability. And then your right hand is over here on your right thigh, just below the hip, so that it stays down, right? Your lower back is flat. Start to draw your left thigh in. Pull the pit of your belly in. And then you might start to bend your left elbow, lift your chest, really bring your left thigh in towards your left side rib cage. Now if you lifted your head and your shoulders, let them come back down with your exhale. And take your left leg out to the side while you turn your gaze to the right. On your next inhale, draw your left leg back through center. Whatever you have on your left foot, slide it over to the right hand. And then exhale, cross your left leg to the right, turn your gaze to the left. And breathe. Your next inhale, draw your left leg back through center. And then exhale, hug both knees in towards your chest. Now inhale here. And then exhale to a happy baby. So peace fingers to your big toes, hands to the inner or outer arches of your feet. But if it would feel better to you to just take your hands to your hamstrings and just let them go off together, it's perfect. Breathe here, kind of rocking side to side. And let your knees, your inner thighs come back together for a moment. Press your feet up into the sky for legs up the wall, waterfall. And then you can just be still, or you can draw figure eights on the ceiling with your feet. one more inhale. And on the exhale, hug your knees back in towards your chest. Now inhale here. And then exhale, take your forehead all the way up towards your knees for full wind removing pose. Round through your cervical spine. Take one more inhale there. And then exhale, open up to your Shavasana. Let your legs extend forward. Your feet hang comfortably open. Arms down by the side body. Your palms can face up. Close down your eyes. Relax your brow. Wiggle your jaw from side to side. And relax, release completely. And rest. What you need is to be here a little bit longer. Not to move beyond and just stay right where you are. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath. So wiggle your fingers and your toes. On your inhale, float your arms up overhead. Find your full body stretch. And then exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins and then roll over to the right or press straight up into your comfortable easy sit, your Sukhasana, where we'll all meet. And once you're there, your hands can either rest in your lap on your knees or come together in Anjali Mudra at heart center. Maybe a little soft bow of the head as you take a moment to be grateful for your body, for what it does for you today, to be hopeful for tomorrow. Thank you all for stepping onto your mats, whenever it is. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.